So good morning friends, welcome to PD classes. Today a very important session for all those who want to make their career in strategic studies. दोस्तों ये बहुत अच्छा सब्जेक्ट है और इस सब्जेक्ट से रिलेटेड आज सारे क्वेश्चंस हम बेस्ड करेंगे एंड इंपॉर्टेंट इज कि हमारे उन स्टूडेंट्स के लिए बेनिफिट मिलेगा जो स्ट्रेटेजिक स्ट्रेटेजीज में अपना करियर बनाना चाहते हैं. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वेलकम विशाल.
Yes, sir.
Vishal, first of all I want to know from you that what is strategic studies?
Sure, sir. Strategic studies is a interdisciplinary academic field centered on the study of peace and conflict strategies, often devoting special attention to international relations, international politics, diplomacy, intelligence, and military power.
Okay, very nice. And what is the scope of strategic studies?
Sure, sir. Strategic studies are also the subjects of such as the role of intelligence and diplomacy for the security and defense of a nation, also advises the government agencies for the benefits of the nation and strategies to adopt for a better nation.
My next question to you is why you opted strategic studies as your career?
Sure, sir. Sir, I opted the strategic studies when I came to know about this in an online webinar.
Yes.
I found this strategic studies subject as very interesting.
Okay.
And I also find that after study this subject, I get placed in think tank and any government agency.
Okay.
And advise the government agencies for strategies and predict the current scenario of international relations and for the benefit on the interest of the nation.
Okay. Now my next question is, what is India's strategy concern regarding China?
Okay, sir. China is a neighbor country of India.
Okay.
It is historically our rival, which captured our land in the erstwhile state of Ladakh.
Okay.
And very slowly encroached our land in Arunachal Pradesh inside 50-60 kilometer Indian border. And Indian government and policy makers are deeply concerned because of the China constant policy to challenge the sovereignty and integrity of India.
Okay. And
therefore India had to make a strategy to counter the growing hegemony of China.
Okay.
And it has twofold process. First, by the improving military power of India by investing in defense and science and tech.
Yes.
And therefore at the same time to raise its economy and the economy size by the help of the Western world, which is very developed and which can assist us in technological systems and power to counter the growing hegemony of China. Thank you.
I have many questions regarding strategic studies from you today, but the important part is I want to know few benefits of strategic studies. Can you elaborate?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Strategic studies which offers a variety of benefits to every nations.
Okay.
First benefit I want to clarify that it helps us to analyze and predict the current scenario of global order and to act strategy in a particular manner for the benefit of our nation, whether business related or strategic related.
Okay.
And second benefit I want to mention that it helps us to predict and attack competition in future and formulate a policy for the long run.
Okay.
And therefore it helps us to analyze and predict the future coming of a scenario.
Okay.
And therefore it has lead to formulation of a policy that is a benefit to our nation.
Okay.
And the third and most important benefit of this, it helps us to choose our friendly nations and the regions in the international sphere and choose our ally in the long run.
Okay.
That can help us in our development as every nation are obliged by its interest.
What do you mean by Quad? And tell its background also and its significance for India also.
Okay, sir. The Quad formerly known as Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, is a formal group of 4 nations that are India, Japan, Australia, and USA. And the group formation conceptualized by the former Prime Minister of from Japan, Shinzo Abe, in 2006, and this group now formally recognized by the world, and this has lead to, according to official documents, fosters the shared vision of free and open Indo-Pacific, and also to counter the growing hegemony of China, as China claims the all South China Sea and often harass small nations in Indo-Pacific like Philippines, Vietnam, and Thailand. And major concern is the hindrance caused by China in front of all Quad nations and small nations in Indo-Pacific for their sovereignty and integrity, along with development of the nations.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Discuss important things and institution of UN.
Okay, sir. UN is established, also called United Nations, established in 1945, with a task to maintain global peace and security.
Yes.
There are 6 official working languages of UN, that are French, Russian, English, Chinese, Spanish, and Arabic. All the minutes and documents of the UN are published in these working languages. There are 6 principal organs of UN, that are UN General Assembly, UN Security Council, Economic and Social Council, Trustship Council, Secretariat, and International Court of Justice. And I want to elaborate some important organs. Like, I first elaborate the important organ, which is UN General Assembly. The UN General Assembly is the main deliberative body of the UN, which has 193 members, 51 original and 142 admitted later, making the total tally to 193.
Okay.
Each member nation can send 5 delegates and 6 alternates to the UN General Assembly, and each nation has 1 vote. No one has veto power. Interestingly, the UN General Assembly works within a charter, and charter is maintained by the General Assembly, and when it needed, the UN General Assembly along with UNSC amend the charter for the global peace and maintenance. It is headquartered at USA, New York.
What is Cold War and its implications?
Okay. A Cold War was fought between the 2 groups led by USA and USSR, while USA and NATO, along with Western allies, promotes democracy and wants to flourish democracy.
Okay.
While the USSR, along with Eastern world and CSTO, promotes communism and socialism. But the Cold War ended in 1991 with the dissolution of USSR into 15 countries, and it has serious implications for the Middle East, that is even today unstable, like the problem in Afghanistan and the Iraq, Iran, and various Middle East countries are in crisis, whether for financial or security crisis.
Okay. What is Abraham Accords, and from which nation it relates?
Okay, sir. Abraham Accords are a series of peace talks mediated or brokered by the US between the Israel and various Middle East countries to establish their former relations, such as the relations between the Israel and Palestine. Due to Abraham Accords, the relations established under this initiative are the relations between the Israel and UAE, Israel and Morocco, Israel and Sudan, along with Israel and Bahrain.
Okay. And define SAARC, SAARC.
Sure, sir. SAARC, its full form is South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation.
Okay.
It was formed in 1985 in Kathmandu, Nepal. It has 8 members, 7 original and 1 Afghanistan admitted later. Total members are 8, which are India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, and Maldives.
Okay.
And according to which the CIRSS is a group in South Asia to promote or to overcome the problems of illiteracy, malnutrition, and poverty. And this is in this area. And it is headquartered at Kathmandu, Nepal. Thank you, sir.
Okay. And what is ASEAN? ASEAN.
Sure, sir. ASEAN is an intergovernmental and group of unions of states. Its full form is Association of Southeast Asian Nations.
Okay.
It is very important group in South Asia. It is first formed in 1967. It has 10 members, 5 original and 5 admitted later. It is very powerful group, and it was formed for the mutual collaborative approach to for the problems of common interest like economic, social, cultural, and humanitarian crisis in this area, like the Myanmar crisis, as we all know today, is supervising by the SARC.
How the most hot topic of Kashmir deadlock created?
Okay, sir. Kashmir deadlock created by the Indian government due to the fault of Indian government. When India and Pakistan were at war, the India has the instrument of annexation of Kashmir and also had military power to settle this dispute by force.
Okay.
But Indian government urges the UNSC, which is biased and wants to mediate UNSC, and UNSC mediate and brokered peace deal between India and Pakistan, and ceasefire maintained from immediate effect. And therefore, by this ceasefire, the major area of land which belongs to India legally goes to Pakistan, and the Kashmir deadlock created.
Is it necessary to reform UN for the needs of modern world?
Sure, sir. Yes, sir. It is much needed that the UN is reformed for the modern world.
Okay.
UN was created or established after the World War II to cater the needs of that time,
Okay.
to maintain peace and security. We are in 21st century, and the modern world was full of the technological advancements with social networking sites like IT, AI, and major technological advancements.
Yes.
And the countries and nations also have some powers, and they ignore the UN, and UN has failed to reconcile peace and security in every region of the world. Like they cannot solve a dispute like the Israel-Palestine, Indo-Pak, Indo-China, and various issues in the world sphere, and also failed to maintain a global health crisis like the COVID-19.
Okay.
And therefore it is much needed to reform the UN structurally and organizationally, like our Indian PM focus on the restructuring of UN, and place India as a main deliberative body.
My next question will be, what will be the global order financially according to recent report published in UK think tank?
So the current order for globally, USA is the leading power in technological, military, and economical aspect,
Okay.
and which is assisted by the Russian allies and NATO. And China and India also have some role in global sphere. While US and India promotes democracy and propagates it throughout the world, and while China promotes communism and gives short loans to propagate communism to various countries. But according to recent report by UK think tank, by 2028 China will replace US as largest economy of the world, and by 2030 India will be the third largest economy of the world.
Okay.
And therefore it is a financial order in 2030 after a decade,
Okay.
and therefore the new Cold War started between the USA and China, led by different groups.
Okay. What is BRI project?
Sure, sir. BRI project is a Belt and Road Initiative project of China,
Okay.
in which they give soft loans or small loans to poor developed nations, and therefore by giving soft loans to these countries,
Okay.
they make dams projects, roads construction, railways, ports, and China wants to operate business throughout the world via this Belt and Road Initiative. Like they initiate the project CPEC in Pakistan, and they want to reach Europe by Belt and Road Initiative through connection of roads and railways through Middle East for the business, and to Africa via the ports in the Indian Oceans like Djibouti, Habantota, etc. to overcome the problem of Malacca Strait problem.
Okay. What is string of pearls strategy?
Sure, sir. String of pearl strategy is a strategy of China to encircle India by its infrastructure projects to isolate India in the region.
Okay.
Like they encircle India by the infrastructure projects like Hambantota port in the Sri Lanka and Djibouti port in the Djibouti country
Okay.
in the Indian Ocean, and to encircle India from south. While at the west, they capture the Gwadar port and build Wakhan corridor along with CPEC project to encircle India from west, and tries to get base or port in Bangladesh or Myanmar to encircle India from east, and to isolate India, which is rival of China in the times of conflict, and do not raise support of Western world and isolate them in the region.
How India would help Western world to counter the growing hegemony of the China?
Sure, sir. India is a key for the Western world to counter the growing hegemony of China. At the same time, every country is obliged by its interest. The partnership of the India and the Western world is mutually beneficial. While India needs Western world for technological advancement and development of the nation,
Okay.
through its technological advancements, IT sector, and much needed green energy
Yes.
and nuclear energy. While Western world needs India,
Okay.
which is only ally of Western world, led by USA in the Asia Pacific region, or we say Indo-Pacific region, to counter the growing hegemony of China, as it is the neighbor of the China and also the rival of China, and to counter the China militarily and economically, as it is the second largest economy of Asia after China.
What is the issue of Israel and Palestine?
Sure, sir. Israel-Palestine issue is the most debatable topic, but this topic is very immensely important for everyone.
Okay.
Israel-Palestine. There is city in the Israel-Palestine, Jerusalem. That is very important. That is holiest place for all the three religions, that are Christian, Islamism, and Jews.
Yes.
And Palestine claimed this area of Jerusalem and wants to capture, but Israel by force capture the area of Jerusalem, that is holiest place for Jews, and the whole Islamic world, including IOC, that is Islamic Organization of Islamic World, OIC, condemns the Israel, but the Western world assist Israel, as they want the free speech and holiest place to accessible by all religions.
Okay.
As Jerusalem administered by Israel currently.
Okay. How the DD News extension for the whole world increase the influence of India and its software?
Okay, sir. DD News is a national news broadcasting channel
Yes.
of India, funded by the government of India. But the government recently announced the extension of DD News to the world, and therefore it is extended to the world and to publish public articles in front of all world to represent the Indian side of view to the world. Because Western media and Middle East media portrays India's image negatively and to micro highlight the problems of India like poverty and the unhygienic conditions.
Okay.
But DD News, funded by the government of India, represent the view and the positive side of India in front of world.
Okay. How strong is NATO in today's world?
Okay, sir. NATO, its full form is North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
Okay.
It is formed in 1949 with a view to start Cold War to counter the USSR at that time.
Okay.
And they were successful as USSR were dissolved into 15 countries, emerging Russia as successor. But in today's world, NATO is strong enough to counter the China, and that is the new enemy of the Western world.
Okay.
But there are some differences within NATO, like Eastern European nations and Turkey are under influence of Russia and China due to their economic backwardness and economic hardships due to the COVID-19 and other economic crises in previous years like 2009 crisis, and therefore NATO is strong enough
Okay.
to counter the China.
Okay. What is more reliable partner for India in defense sector, US or France?
Sure, sir. The US or France are both allies of India.
Okay.
But when we talk about the defense sector, the US is technologically more advanced than the France.
Okay.
But US is crippled with the policy change when the leadership changes.
Okay.
But when we talk about France, they are much more allies and sees India as a major defense partner and customer.
Okay.
And India wants France as a strategic defense partner rather than US, because France is a stable partner unlike US.
Okay. What is trade war?
Sure, sir. Trade war was fought between nations to protect their domestic industry,
Okay.
and also at the same time to promote its export and capture other countries' market. Its weapons are the size of economy and tariffs and duties imposed on imported goods that leads to expensive imported goods in our country,
Okay.
and to uproot the imported goods and to protect our domestic industry and fosters our economy.
Okay. What is the importance of AI in the field of defense?
Sure, sir. AI
Yes.
is the artificial intelligence used in every field. It is a revolutionary idea used in military and civil purposes. But when we talk about defense, it is strategic importance. Like recently, Israel bombs the Gaza Strip with the use of AI very effectively, and AI helps to predict the drone attack, bombs, and to prevent an attack also, like S-400 system and patriotic missile defense system of US. It is very revolutionary, and this helps a nation in times of conflict
Okay.
to replace the intelligence group of military and automatically bombs the area.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
As you have answered very well, I want your complete introduction. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, sir, sure, sir. Myself Vishal Sethi. I am 19 years old. I hail from Shri Ganganagar, which is also known as Food Basket of Rajasthan. I am currently a student in Bachelor of Arts from SKT University in Hanumangarh.
Okay.
I live in nuclear family consisting of 5 adults and 1 kid. In near future, I want to serve as strategic importance officer in the government of India.
Okay.
I want to raise India standards in world sphere, and therefore I had kicked on my foundation course.
Okay.
As on my pastime, I usually pursue the activities of reading magazines and journals of strategic importance, and along with this, I would also like to travel and explore new cultures and customs. And as a point in my being that makes me a good asset are riveted work and good leadership qualities, and as the points in my being that I am working upon are enhancing my multitasking skills and time management. Thank you, sir.
See, you told about strategic studies today. So, this is a subject of
Defense.
defense, quite different from other things.
Yes, sir.
Totally a subject of defense.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what other things we study in this subject?
Sir, like the defense and strategic studies subject, role of intelligence in diplomacy for the security of the nations, and strategic policy makers, and the decisions which the government faces every day or every month to grow the hegemony of our nation in the international world and international sphere.
So you have given very well interview, and I hope this interview session will be very fruitful for all of you. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir.